Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, The Joyce of Life, where we talk about life in general, just to hopefully inspire other people to find joy in their lives. Before we head on to our topic, I just want to inform you guys that we are now on Google Podcasts. So if you haven't subscribed yet or you haven't followed me on Google Podcasts, please do so. And you can also follow me on my YouTube channel and also follow me on Spotify. Do you have these moments when you're excited about something that you wanted to do and maybe you're already planning about it or maybe about to start, but a certain thought crosses your mind saying that, no, I can't. I'm not good enough for this. And then you just stop. And you lose your motivation and your drive to pursue it. If you answered yes, then you're not alone. To tell you the truth, I have been planning to start this podcast since the start of the year. But because I keep on doubting myself, I cannot really execute any of my plans, thus causing the delay. So I always have this feeling that I'm not good enough, that I'm not going to live up to expectations, or I'm not really likable anyway, or maybe I don't have the resources or the things that I need to start, etc. All of the negative things. Also, when I started to record the first episode, some of my insecurities resurfaced. That, for example, my voice is not that pleasing to listen to at all. Or I'm not really talking sense because my thoughts are everywhere. That I will not be able to be an inspiration to others because I cannot really speak well. Those things. So all of my insecurities and the self-doubt turned into fears also of being rejected, of being criticized, and being judged by other people. But wait, Joyce, you said that we're just going to talk about things that are joyful and things that bring people joy. But why are we talking about something that people are not really willing to open up about, or they're trying to hide? So first I want to discuss this because this is something that I also struggle with. So I am not an expert on anything. I'm just sharing what I think is the way to cope with it. So how I cope with it. And I believe that you cannot be completely happy with your life if you don't know how to overcome self-doubt and you don't know how to embrace your flaws. So if you always have that internal dialogue saying that you're not good enough and it's affecting your self-worth, then you will not be able to do a lot of things that will bring you joy. Because self-doubt is like this wall that's hindering you from crossing a path that you want to take. And unless you learn how to burst through that wall, you will just stay in the same place, thinking of what could have been or overthinking a lot of things. So at some point in your life, you need to face your fears to be able to move forward and to cause a change in your life. But easier said than done, right? So how do we overcome self-doubt and our insecurities if we ourselves are our own worst critics? So I think first you need to be able to identify the root cause of your insecurity. So they say that all our insecurities originate from our childhood. So it can be from having parents that are overly strict, or parents that set high standards for their children, or to being bullied when you were still a child. So many other factors. A certain thought from your past can trigger feelings of insecurity. So if you understand the origin of these feelings, you can use that as a powerful tool to disempower them. So if you can identify that thought that led to the feeling, what you can do is you can change the thought and the feelings will change as well. So it's simple cause and effect. So you need to learn how to let go and forgive the past for you to be able to move forward. And you should trust yourself to be able to build your confidence. And remember that it's only you who's in charge of your feelings and your emotions. Second, and I think it's very important in this day and age, is to stop comparing yourself to others. Well, comparison is a normal thing actually. It's a human condition. But when it turns to obsession and it turns to competition, that's when it becomes destructive. So on social media, you usually see people share good things about their life, or maybe some people showing off their material things. But the thing is, people constantly showcase the best aspects of their life on social media. It's not the reality. It's like a filtered sense of reality. So if you compare your life to the things that you see online, it will lead to unrealistic expectations. And of course, if not met, they will lead to self-doubt and low self-esteem. So what I do when I'm scrolling through my feeds and I see people having the time of their life in a vacation or having good things in life, I just say, good for you. So I learn how to be happy for those people and not try or not to be caught up comparing myself to them. So you need to redirect your attention and not get so caught up comparing yourself, because in the process you will eventually lose track of the things that you're accomplishing yourself. The next one, and I think it's still related to the last one, is to find validation within you. So again, on social media, we seem to measure our self-worth based on the number of likes or the number of views that our posts get. And when we don't achieve that, this nagging sense of not being able to measure up affects how we perceive and how we value ourselves. Trying to seek external validation to feel good about yourself is like letting other people dictate how you will feel about yourself. So if you rely solely on how others perceive you or how they approve of you, you will not be able to do a lot of things, and it will limit your potential. And also, you will not be able to express your true self. So I think it's important that you discover yourself and have a deeper understanding of who you really are. Your values, the things that you like, the things that you enjoy doing, your personality. So if you are more self-aware and you have more self-validation, then you will be able to know that you don't need other people to tell you that you're doing okay. If you feel that when you connect to social media, the more you feel disconnected to yourself, then that's the time that you need to take a break and try to regain your sense of self. So stop caring what others might think of you. If they don't like you, then so be it. What's important is how you feel about yourself. Okay, the next one is to be with supportive people. So other than having validation from within, I think it's also important to have people that will push you to pursue the things that you want or to push you to take action. So just last time, I got a comment from a friend saying that I already mentioned my husband twice during the first 2 episodes. And to tell you honestly, I will never get tired of mentioning him because he's the biggest influence in everything that I'm doing. So they say when you are with the right person, you would want to be the best version of yourself for that person. And for me, it's true. So my husband has been very supportive of me. He's pushing me to do things that is good for my well-being. And he's seeing my potential even if I couldn't. So it makes me think, like, if he has this much confidence in me, then why can't I do that for myself? So the least that I can do is to prove to him and to prove to myself that, yeah, I can do it. So if you get the support that you need, it's a great way to boost your self-esteem. So I cannot really stress this any further when I say that the people you surround yourself with greatly affects how you perceive yourself as well. The next one, which I think is very important, is to be kind to yourself. So honestly, for me, this is hard to do because I always have high expectations on things, And when things don't turn out the way I wanted them to, I constantly blame myself for not living up to them or not doing my best, although I know I did. I'm being too harsh on myself most of the time, and instead of doing good, it's making me feel worse about myself. So when I have these feelings, what I do is I try to breathe and I say, you know what? You did well today. There's always tomorrow. I realize that I'm being compassionate to others, but not to myself. That I too deserve a break. That I should be my own motivator and not my own critic. That instead of judging, I should be understanding and accepting of the fact that I'm not perfect, that I'm only human and shortcomings are all part of learning and growing. And the last one is to just do it. So let's get real. We cannot really get rid of self-doubt and our insecurities like magic. We need to have a lot of power to overcome them. So most of the time, it's our fears manifesting itself to protect us from potential losses. And sometimes we also make excuses because we're scared of taking the first step. When I was recording the first episode of this podcast, there were moments that I wanted to stop trying because I was so scared of many things. I was scared of putting myself out there. I was scared of failing. I was even scared of succeeding. And I was also scared of not being perfect. All of those negative things. But what I did is I took a leap of faith and I trusted myself and continued on and finished it. Because we need to have the courage to continue on despite our fears. If you feel unmotivated to do the things that you plan to do because of self-doubt, then you can try to do them for short periods of time each day. I read about this thing called the 10-minute rule, where you try to do the things that you plan to do for 10 minutes and decide after those 10 minutes if you want to continue or not. So I think just taking action is enough to create progress, and slow progress is still progress. So just take that leap of faith and trust yourself. So when we get past our fears, we can do whatever we set our minds into. So when your mind's telling you that you're not good enough or you're not worthy or you're not capable of doing things, kick your self-doubt to the curb and say, you know what? Not today. So don't let the voice of self-doubt take over your thoughts and your emotions. Pick yourself up and make things happen. So do it for yourself, and trust me, your future self will thank you. And that's it for today's episode. If you think this episode can help somebody who struggles with self-doubt and insecurities, don't hesitate to share this to them and hopefully inspire them to have courage to pursue their goals. And if you want me to discuss other topics, just message me on my Facebook page. It's at the Joyce of Life podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also to follow me on Spotify and Google Podcasts so you will get notified whenever I post a new episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.